Hello everybody, this is something new to the channel. We've had it here a little while. It's a RS200 replica with a Subaru engine in the back. A little bit quirky, we've done quite a lot to this. I'll just walk around it, run you through a bit of the stuff that we've done and some of the stuff that we're going to do. So when this came to us, it was basically a stalled project. It had been sat for about 10-12 years as far as I understand it. The big job that had been done was the engine and the gearbox were in the hole, and there'd been a few questionable tastings done, like all the green stuff through here, and it even had the Subaru Impreza headlights grafted in the front. So what we did was reverse some of that bad taste stuff. We put the standard looking lights in the clam on the front. I think we've got some pictures of them that we'll chuck up on the video. And then we've gone through and tried to basically finish this thing off. We've got a lot left to do, but we're a lot further down the line than when we started. So focusing on the engine bay, the engine has been fully built. I don't really know too much about these Subaru engines, I'll be honest, but it's been built by one of the reputable Subaru tuners in the southwest, and it's going back to them for the standalone ECU to be set up and to get it all on the rolling road and dynoed and everything set up properly. But there was no pipe work on it. So we had, well, I say that, there was some pipe work on it, but it was all wrong. The intercooler, for example, was mounted far too high, so the rear clam wouldn't shut. All the pipe work going down for the induction was just all to cock. There was no filtration on it. There was no accounting for the MAF. There was no exhaust on it. The fuel system wasn't finished. The cooling system wasn't even thought about. We had no radiator anywhere in the car, no cooling lines. So that's basically what we've been doing on the project since it's been here. We started off at the back. We had to build this frame on the top, so we bent up this tube, CNC plasma cut some little gussets and some mounts and made this to go between these strut towers that were already here, because that dog bone mount obviously is the take up on the top of the gearbox there, so we had to do that. We had to modify all the mounts for the intercooler, like I said. We had to change these braces to incorporate the mounts. We've also incorporated the mounting for air catch fasteners for the clam. We've got the leader shocks all rebuilt, and then we basically went on and fabricated all the stuff around here for the exhaust. We've got all this tube work here that we've made up and all these brackets to mount the exhaust on. So this is a really nice kit from the States. I'll be honest, I can't remember who made this. It's been a while since that turned up. But you've got this assembly on the transmission at the rear. We've then measured up for the cables. So we've got Cable Tech in the UK to make those up for us. And then inside the cabin, we've got the shifter assembly. So we had to modify the centre tunnel slightly to get all that stuff on. Move the handbrake over to the side. So the handbrake is now in the passenger footwell to give us the space for that. And that all works a treat. Really, really nice bit of kit, that. This tube work down the bottom here is to mount the transmission, because that was all really janky and shit. And the way that the rear clam was mounted was just shocking. It was basically tech screws through the fiberglass, couple of wood screws holding it onto the chassis. It was really bad. So we've made some nice mounts for that, some nice hinges all glassed into the rear clam. So it's starting to take a bit of shape now. As with all of these sorts of projects, when you take something on that's half done, you end up having to spend a huge amount of time working out where the project's at before you even get going. So that's what took a lot of time, and then you have to try and work around some of the work that's been done, redo some of the work, and then you get to start things like putting the exhaust together and actually making some meaningful progress, which is where we're at now. We've still got to get a blow-off valve into the system, boost lines, boost reference lines to boost solenoid. We've got to get the clutch line into the front as well. There was no provision for actually putting fuel in the tanks. The tanks were in the car, so we've just added a filler neck on each side, link pipe between the two. Coolant system wise, there was the factory header tank but no expansion tank, so we've added that on here. And we'll go around to the front now and check out where we've mounted the radiator. So this is probably my favourite bit of work on the car so far, because it involves bending up some tube, which I love doing, roll cages, bits like this, and also some nice aluminium sheet metal work to enclose it all. So like I said, there was no cooling system on the car at all when it came to us. We've gone for the biggest Mishimoto radiator we could fit in here. We use their stuff because it just works, it's reliable. As you can see here, this just fits a treat in the frame that we've made for it. So none of this structure was on the front. Basically the car finished at the struts here. We've made all this structure on the front. Not only does this house the radiator, which ducts in through the front grille, and then obviously up through the vent that you'll be familiar with if you know what an RS200 looks like. So that's a nice flow of air through there. But we've also incorporated the mounts for the front clam. So it hinges on the front on these sections down here. So really neat, keeps the weight down because obviously we're using one structure to do two things. And on a car like this, where the thing hopefully only weighs just over 1,000 kilos, you want to keep the weight down as much as possible. We've got coolant pipes obviously running from the back of the car all the way to the front, and then we've got our radiator and fan all in the front here. We've also made up a nice plasma cut, CNC design plasma cut battery box for the little tiny AUTOSTYL battery in here. Putting as much weight up front as possible because obviously all the weight at the minute is at the back, and whilst we want to keep weight down, the distribution of weight is really important to keep the handling. So although this battery's small, it made sense to locate that at the front rather than adding more weight at the back. We've done all the fiberglass work on the front clam, the rear clam, so they're all good now. So really the next thing is to get fluids in this thing, get the link ECU plugged in and a base map on that and fire it up, because I think we've got some sort of immobilizer issue or compatibility issue between the key, the clocks, the ECU, something along those lines. And rather than persevering with that and ending up with a situation where we can't really even tune it that well because it's a stock ECU, we're binning that all off and it's going with link, and then it'll go up to engine tuner and they'll sort it all out properly on their dyno. That's what you can expect next from this project. We'll update you as we go. So click on the old subscribe button. So you might have noticed that we're making a little bit more of a concerted effort on the old YouTube at the minute. We need your help. Basically, the YouTube algorithms, all the rest of it are a whole new world for us. And the quickest way we can grow and get more exciting stuff out there to you guys is if you can like, subscribe, share with your friends, pop it in a WhatsApp group, Messenger, whatever you can do to help spread the word about all this crazy shit that we're building here down in Cornwall would be fantastic. We'd really appreciate it. Thank you guys.